everyone, welcome to this update video. I hope you're doing really great. So we'll be taking a look at what is going on in and around the vicinity of the Caribbean. But before we do so, we're delving into the must-have products of the day in order to be more prepared for the hurricane season. So if you're not familiar with this is something new I'm incorporating in my videos where I may talk about a specific product and the importance of having it during the hurricane season. So the must-have product of the day is a first aid kit. So that would include items such as bandages, antiseptic wipes, instant cold packs, and even medication as well, such as those over-the-counter pain relievers, because in the event of a natural disaster such as a tropical storm or hurricane or even something else, it doesn't have to be any of those, it could be an earthquake, there could be injuries, and so getting immediate medical attention, if that is not a possibility, then first aid would be given to that person. So these are just a couple of items that can be included, but it is a very important thing to have because, again, anything can happen. In the case of a natural disaster, someone could get injured or hurt in some way, shape, or form. So this is a great necessity to have during the hurricane season. So that is the product of the day, and now let's go ahead and move on to what is happening across the region. So immediately we can see that it's been quite active in the Eastern Caribbean. We can see all of that activity, all those colors, those white dots, and the white dots indicate lightning strike. So we've got all that activity which has been developing since yesterday. It made its way through most of the Lesser Antilles and is now lifting to the vicinity of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and even Hispaniola. In addition, we see that next surge in moisture that is headed towards the vicinity of Trinidad and Tobago, and is located north of the Guyanas. There is another tropical wave out there, not a whole lot of activity in association with it, and there is one within the vicinity of Jamaica. So let's zoom into the Caribbean, and here we can see a much closer view of all the activity going on. So some showers and thunderstorms are loitering around different parts of the region. We can see a couple in parts of central Cuba, offshore the Cayman Islands, and even near the Bahamas as well, the northern Bahamas. Going over to Central America, a bit of activity here and there, nothing too crazy. But as I said, there's a tropical wave near Jamaica. That one is not producing a whole lot of rain and thunderstorms at this time. As for that second one, we can see a lot going on with it as it makes its way to the west. Then headed a bit further east, again, there we can see that little surge in moisture that is heading in. And as these tropical waves, as they make their way to the west, they will be helping to enhance the rain across the region. That is not something uncommon, and we're going to be seeing those more robust ones along with, actual developing tropical storms and hurricanes as we head into August and September, even October and November as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rainfall forecast for today. Here we can see it from Euro, and we can see these different colors. So the more colorful the map is, indicates more rainfall activity. So there could be some additional heavy downpours across parts of the Lesser Antilles, so from Anguilla all the way down through Trinidad and Tobago, and then for the Virgin Islands and parts of Puerto Rico as well, even some spots in Hispaniola. There could be some pretty heavy downpours, which could even result in some level of flooding. Hopefully that will not be significant today. ABC Islands may experience a couple passing showers. Northern South America, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana will likely be quite active as we head through today. Parts of Central America will also be a little bit active with some periods of heavy rain. So Panama, a few spots in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, going to Guatemala, a few spots in Mexico, maybe a bit active. Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, a whole lot of rain not expected, but there could be some downpours, especially as we head to the afternoon. And then for Cuba, some spots in the Bahamas and even up to Florida, there could be some periods of heavy rain. Now, in addition to this, there is some dust still loitering around in the Caribbean. So there was that denser plume earlier this week, and now we can see that a lot of that dust is over toward parts of Central America. And then we see this next plume, which is heading in today. So those darker brown shadings indicate the higher concentration of dust. So that's going to be moving across the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and eventually into tomorrow as we head to Hispaniola, then Jamaica as we head to Monday. So this is not something uncommon to see in the month of July, as I've been reiterating in my previous videos. So the dust is quite dominant right now, and it is also helping to suppress tropical cyclone development because it enhances a very dry, stable environment. Meanwhile, the tropical waves, the developing tropical systems, they need a warm, moist environment. So without a lot of moisture and atmospheric instability, then it is unlikely we're going to see any significant development. And as of right now, nothing is marked to be watched over the course of the next 7 days. Heading to the wind forecast now. Here we can see these different shadings of blues and these purples. So winds are likely to kick up in most of the Caribbean, winds over 20 knots, even up to the Bahamas, especially the central and southern Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands as well. And then in the central Caribbean, winds could be even stronger, going over 30 knots or so, especially just offshore Colombia. So in the eastern Caribbean, going to the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, even for Hispaniola, and the central Caribbean, there's likely to be those winds kicking up today. And there could be those higher gusts. So even though winds may be, say, around 20 knots or so, the gusts could be up to maybe 23, 25 as we head through today. And then in terms of the wave heights now, we can see some of these green shadings. So offshore the Lesser Antilles, a bit further out into the ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean, we can see that those wave heights today likely to be 6, maybe up to 7 feet within some areas. And it's a similar thing in parts of the South Caribbean. We can see those green shadings heading on to that very pale greenish yellow shading. So that's wave heights up to around 9 feet offshore Panama right there. But elsewhere across the region should be anywhere from below a foot going up to 5 feet in wave heights as we head throughout today. And so guys, that is what is going on. And again, nothing is marked right now to be watched for development, but we do have that tropical wave which has moved in, and that's been enhancing the rain for the Caribbean and even brought those very heavy downpours and thunderstorms as well. So it is continuing into the area, now affecting the northeastern islands. And again, there is going to be that flood potential with those periods of a lot of heavy rain, especially in those more vulnerable or those more flood prone areas. And so please take necessary precautions where required. So I will continue to keep you posted on all that is happening, and that is basically it for this updates video. I really do hope you found it to be informative, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll respond when I get the chance to do so, and remember to always be weatherwise.